Wednesday. And happy Wednesday to you on Zoom, or who are watching it on YouTube next week or beyond. Welcome to our team meeting. We hold this once a week. And Jason is our KWPR dancer, and he just felt motivated a little bit there, and maybe that's just a taste of things to come.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm Jamie, I'm the CDO, and I'm up here on behalf of the leadership team. We put in a lot of work every day and all week, and this is our game day that we get to pour into every one of you, and in person and on Zoom. And it's the best day of the week for us. So let's move forward. The mission of Keller Williams Realty International is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And their vision is that it's simple, and I hope you have a vision, and it's super simple. Be the company of choice for agents and their customers. That makes sense, right? Values. Are you able?
Yes, hi Candace, hi.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi, Candace. Everyone say hi to Candace.
Hi, Candace.
Hi guys. Come to speed dating today at 2.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna hear from her. We're gonna hear from her. We're gonna hear from her for sure. So what we have is also our values. These are our values here. Leadership, let's go.
Culture, integrity, impact, growth.
We take the honor.
Oh.
Well, let's do a little bit deeper dive real quick. So culture, our priorities, God, family, business in that exact order. This is what you define that as, and family is also yourself. You are the cog maker of your business, so you need to take care of you. Integrity, if you had a golden goose, you would probably take care of it, right? Well, you're your golden goose. Integrity, we always believe in doing the right thing. Had a great example in ELC this morning from Mikey of doing the right thing, even though it means the potential of a lot of business potentially being lost. However, it's probably something that probably would have haunted her forever if it didn't go right. So good for her. Integrity. Impact. Strive to give freely of our time and talents to influence lives. That's another thing our ALC is doing, and you'll hear from them more today too. Growth. We encourage strong growth, our work ethic plus consistency, systems, models, and tools to achieve results. We are only as good as our systems. If our systems aren't in place, we can never, if it's a 2 out of 10, we can't get out of bigger than a 2 just by being creative. Our systems get us to there. And let's give it up for Anna Thompson. All right, so play of the week. So Anna, not only was she at the top of the producer charts last month, but she is at the top of the reproducer charts this month. So she had her lovely Anthony last week, and she was nominated, not for reproducing herself, however, for even up to the epidural being put in place, she was still texting people to make sure her clients were getting their offer fully submitted and the way she wanted it done. Now, I mean, we can all relate to that, right, guys? So, but anyway, that being said, that and many other qualities that she has, she was nominated for that reason. And who do you know that you would like to nominate? Because the people around here are pretty amazing. And it's important for us to know, and it's important for your clients to know that about you. And speaking of people who reproduced 15 years ago yesterday.
She got her driver's permit, she passed the test.
Now welcome to the scary hours that you get to drive with.
I know, right? Totally. All right, well, usually I'm up here encouraging you to be involved in the Association for the Greater Good, where I'm trying to help you stay out of real estate jail. Today, I'm talking to you about the importance of doing your continuing education. And every broker peer that I have, when it comes to this time of year, talks about how this is kind of stressful. You as realtors are sometimes, you do things a little last minute. But when you're at a real estate brokerage that has 200 agents, it becomes exponentially stressful. The responsibilities lie on MCA, Agent Services, Front Desk, me. So if you can help us out and be courteous, I'm doing this on behalf of my fellow leadership team to teach you how you can log into Pulse Portal to see how many hours you have. And so what you'll do, you'll follow these steps. There's a website called Pulse Portal. When you log into it, it's through the, the Minnesota government. You need to choose a drop-down menu, and it says select a board, and they oversee continuing education for a few different things, but you'll choose real estate. You'll scroll down then to the very bottom. There's a whole list of options, and it'll say other services. You click on review your CE transcript. What you need to do is you need to enter in your last name, your real estate license number, and your social security number. And it looks like this. So review your transcript or your course completion history, and it looks like this. So I was just curious for fun, how many of you think that I have my real estate CE done for the year? Oh, wow, okay. Thank you for your confidence in me. I have tried to take the required module a couple of times, and it wasn't approved at the conventions and such that I went to. So I just have to be honest with you because I want to be relational. I'm not done with my required module. So it will look like this. I do have 17 credits, so I have more than I need, but I have not done my required module. So you'll see it'll look like this. You don't have to do the agency laws or the fair housing right now, but you do have to do that general module. It seems like it comes up really quickly because it is once a year, but indeed you have to do a required module once a year. This year it happens to be 3.75 hours. And if you've already taken it, hats off to you, but if you haven't, the Minnesota Association of Realtors is offering it for free. So log in today through your state portal and sign up for that one at a minimum. All good? Any questions?
When do they need to be done by?
Well, we have a policy in the office that we ask you to have them done by June 15th. So that's when they have to be done by. There might be a little extra time in there with the Department of Commerce, but we want you to be done on June 15th. Thank you for asking. Did you have a question, Kelly?
No, just a comment to remind people that on the year that you do not renew, so the year that you need 15 credits, you can bank extra credits to go into your renewal year. But on your renewal year, once you renew, it goes back to 0. So you can take the extra classes and learn more, but you won't get credit for them, only on the year you are not renewed.
That's right. Lucky me, I'll be banking some credits. I'll make 2026 a little easier. All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks
Melissa,
for your
we give you
attention.
credit, we give you credit.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank
A
you.
lot of class there.
Oh, wow.
17 of them.
Let that sink in.
17
3.75
classes.
hours. Well, some of you are classless right now. So, speaking of classless, yes,
So for those of us that sat through the CE Blitz thing here, those were all the right
Yes.
things, correct?
You should still check your transcript.
Just
It's your responsibility to verify, but yes.
awesome. Well, just real quick, we had the brackets, the tournament brackets, and Brian said he wanted to come in right as we were announcing that he won the brackets. Way to go, Brian.
Out of the hundreds of entries?
You made hundreds of entries, therefore you won. But Toddy is on her last day on her trip, and speaking of trips, come on up, Grace.
Woo!
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you'll see on the tables, this little laminated QR code. You can scan that and you'll see all the events that are happening the month. I will update every month, so you'll be able to scan that and they'll always be on the tables so that you can do that and follow along and click the links to sign up if you don't want to scan the QR code. Okay, Agent Speed Dating is happening today at 2 o'clock. Candace, do you want to share about it a little bit? And
Come on, Candace.
Okay.
Candace, why are you doing this, first of all?
Because it's fun, and I've done it. We've had done it for a long time, but we did it when I first came here,
Yeah.
and it was probably my favorite event here. But it's nice, it's a good opportunity for new people to network and connect with people that's been around, or their business may be at a different point than yours, and just kind of pick their brain, get some tips and tricks. So it'll be kind of speed dating, mixer style. We'll have food and drinks, and a good time, so I think have fun.
You'll get to sit down with people like Candace, Jason Herkamp, Jolly, all those people.
Yep,
to be able
Chad's
to
gonna
ask
do
some
it,
good
Steve Rawls
questions.
gonna do it.
Yep.
So we got all the greats.
Woo! Yeah. It'll be a great time, so make sure you're
And
here
even
at
if
2
you're
o'clock.
seasoned and you're not on the sitting side, still come, because it's kind of mixer style, and it's just a good opportunity for everyone to network with everyone and get to know, and I guess I just ask questions, so.
Thanks, Candace.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Candace. Awesome.
Okay, these are events that are happening tomorrow. The Rachel Adams Lee Beat the Algorithm class is gonna be at 11 o'clock. You can still sign up here. It's $25. It'll be a great class to boost your social media, and getting leads from that. Also tomorrow, happening at 1:30 right after, is the first tech committee meeting with Bryce and Ryan. It's gonna be a great opportunity just for an open discussion about things like command, things that we can maybe do differently, and just sharing your thoughts, and it'll be a great introduction to the tech committee, so come to that, show your support. Okay, Arbor Day, the last day to sign up is tomorrow. So, scan this QR code, each ticket is like one tree, so if you wanna get like 30 trees, and then you can either deliver them to your clients, or your clients can come pick them up. On Friday, you'll be getting a marketing plan with graphics and captions that you can promote out, so that you get your clients to either come here, let you know and message you if they want a tree, so that you know how many that you're gonna be bringing to them, or how many people will be coming to pick them up. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's a great way to touch your clients, so yeah, we're excited for it. So sign up for that. Again, last day is tomorrow, so.
Well, it's kind of nice too, if every year they go and they walk by that tree, they think of someone they love that they planted it, and then they'll think of you.
Yep, very personal touch.
Really branching out with these, aren't you?
Thank you, every time. Okay, so the Exactly What to Say workshop with Jamie is next, I think it's Tuesday, the 16th, at 12:30.
That's Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday, thank you. After team meeting. That's gonna be kind of, Phil Jones wrapping it all up, and kind of, you'll get a teaser of it today as we talked about it in the team meeting. And then Phil Jones is gonna be at the JW Marriott on May 1st. You can sign up, the general session is $199 and the VIP is $499. It's gonna be super great. It's being put on by the region. And yeah, Phil Jones is awesome, and you'll get to hear a bunch of great stuff and thoughts, ideas from him. So, anything else you want to add?
His book is sold over 2 million copies now. And this is just exactly what to say, and this is things that you can say in all of life and any for relationships and such, but then there's also one real estate specific. So recommend going to that. I'm going to be in the VIP on that, because I am all about this. And again, it's $5,000 to take this, what he's doing all day here as a VIP. So even the $200 piece would probably be worth that for you to pay. So highly recommend it. Support Olivia bringing in these great people. She's really taken a risk. I wouldn't say a risk. She's being aggressive on behalf of our region, and bringing opportunities that just aren't happening. So consider that too when you're wondering if you should go or not. Let that hopefully be a factor.
Okay, and then next week's team meeting, we get to hear from Steve Brawl on the roll report. That's always a really good team meeting, and he does a great job, and he puts a lot of time and effort into that. So, yeah, excited to hear from him.
Are you excited to hear from you?
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.
Good or sidebar?
No, you're good. So all this time I thought, Steve is, okay, when you see veteran players in this industry, in sports, whatever it might be, and they're always at things, that's a signal, that's a sign. Success leaves clues. And Steve is at so many team meetings, and I just assumed it was because that's his nature. He's always learning, he's always growing. However, then I was in his office this week, and I saw this. So Olivia being a major success as a team leader, this is how she got people to show up to her team meetings. It burst my bubble when you don't show up for team meetings. Steve, Olivia. So, I might have to start.
That was years ago.
You really learned your lesson.
Yeah, you haven't missed
Yeah, I
a beat.
wouldn't be embarrassed again.
So thank you, Steve, for your leadership, though, leading by example, seriously. I just thought people would like to see that. All right, well, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the interaction. So, are you making your conversations count, or are you discounting your conversations? What does that mean? Well, first of all, raise your hand if you're a pro.
I'm pro.
If you're not a professional, I guess,
A lot of unprofessional people.
okay, well, I was hoping for a better response to people being professional.
like trying to figure out what
All right,
Wasn't sure what you
by
meant.
that.
How many of you are professional in the real estate field?
There we go. There we go.
Clarify,
Okay.
You
clarify.
get paid for your work,
Wow.
and if you did, you're a pro.
Yeah, instead of a professional, it's like a confessional here. What's going on with this? Well, Phil Jones wrote exactly what to say, magic words that impact and influence. And we're heading up a time where we'll talk about stats next week, but there's probably a huge opportunity coming our way shortly. And one of the things that's important for us is that we think of our tools. We have all these great tools, we have all these great things that we do at our appointments to share our value. However, one of our biggest tools is our language. And Phil Jones will help us with that. All the things at the top are his quotes in red. Your words are the bridge to their world. Every word shapes perception and influence outcomes. So this is tricky. So if you're anything like me, when I was a realtor, I just wanted to get to the point, get the deal signed, and get out. And his concept is, if you want to go faster, you need to slow down. And I'm thinking, that doesn't make much sense to me. However, it does make a lot of sense when you think of, you slow down at the beginning to learn more and more context about them, questions, words that are the bridge to their world. Now you've sped up and you get to what the point is of what they're trying to accomplish and how they're trying to accomplish it, and that'll help you be the who they accomplish it with. So we slow down and we'll talk about what that looks like here. And there will be some interaction coming up soon. So winning, his opinion is winning in the next decade isn't winning the marketing game. Marketing is important, however, it's winning the conversation game. So Colin is great on this with conversation calls. You might hear some of the things that he does, and I'll point them out throughout this. But Phil says every conversation you enter with these three things, starting with curiosity. Curiosity creates certainty, because they are, when you're asking those questions, this person is becoming more and more certain that you understand their situation. Empathy, we'll go into that. That helps you be relatable. Okay? And then courage. This is the one we don't talk about a lot, but courage. Some actions that we can take to get that business secured. So, all right, focusing on the curiosity part of it. Curiosity is the fuel. It's a great conversation because they decide, great conversation, they decide because of their wants, not because of your pitch, okay? They don't want to buy a house. Nobody wakes up or say when they're ninth grade and go, gosh, I can't wait to have a 30-year mortgage and stress about it, getting paid off every month. No one thinks of that, right? However, they want to buy a house because. Okay, they don't want to buy a house just to buy a house, so it's up to us to get to the cause. The intent is to learn their needs, 3 things, again, 3, their needs, their fears, it's important to learn their fears, and their ultimate aspirations. It's not just, okay, what's this house looking like that you're moving to? What's your end goal? Can you see where you want to go with your real estate portfolio over time? And here's a curiosity, interactive exercise. So again, the intent is to learn their needs, their fears and inspirations, or aspirations. So Phil has a card game. It's called Exactly What to Role Play. And in it are a bunch of questions or responses that you can practice. And how it works is he'll say to pick a scenario, and okay, well, that's kind of boring. Open house. I mean, for our sake, open house, okay, and then you, thinking of these, which we'll have on the board here, you say, okay, I need to talk to my spouse is the objection. And we practice how to respond to that. All right, so let's move forward. Now this, right here, I just want to go over this and we'll come back to that. So there's rejection-free openings, assumptive frames, staying in the game, perspective changers, labeling, and making conversations that count. Perspective changers are great in helping you get deeper into empathy, learn where they're at. So going back, what we're going to do is partner up with someone near you or a group, a glob, however you want to do it, and online, throw up some answers, not throw them up, but put up some answers on the chat using this, and you're trying to get empathy. What are you going to add to this? What is your experience? An example.
Talking to your wife?
What's that?
What's your experience talking to your wife?
What's your experience talking to my wife?
Well, your card was I have to talk to my wife about it, my spouse about it.
Oh, I thought you meant me. I'm like, what? Now this is just a general. Oh, we can do it like that, but, okay, let's do it like that then. I'm already working with another agent. Or that's not a good one. Another. No, I'll believe it's still like this. We got some other examples coming up, so practice using this when you're just learning someone's needs when you're sitting there with, I mean, you don't have any information from them yet.
That's interesting, tell me more.
That's a good one. Let me tell you more about that. Exactly, so those are some we could use. So turn to someone and say, like, you're trying to learn what their situation is. So Jason, you know, what is your experience in selling a home? What is your experience in working with an agent? So please turn to someone and do one of those.
Maybe I'll do, let's see.
You can just be a little driver here, try back here.
So tell me about your, sounds like you had a bad experience.
But I think I'm
I do actually ask
Next one to try is the next one on the list. How would you feel if? How would you feel if?
Okay, well, I am absolutely like, they saw a house, that they thought was gonna be a great house, but it actually was a HUD house. It said that it was. A lot of work, but they somehow thought that it was good, because they saw the pictures online, and it was like, man, like, what are you guys doing? And it was like, it's fine. And they kind of went, they were like, well, it didn't look that way in the pictures, and I'm like, so now they think that they can get a house that has a 4-car garage for $320,000, because that's what that house is. So how do I, like, I took them to look at other houses, and they're back, that person, so like, how do you steer them towards, I said, that house needs a lot of work, I went to it. Okay, but it's like, they're not like gonna win that perfect house.
So you didn't take them to see?
I couldn't, because it was contingent, I just did an agent preview. So I was like,
Yeah, they don't understand that the pictures are just actual
what do
types
you do
of.
to try and get somebody to realize that they're being unrealistic? Like, what's your biggest pitch on that?
Of course, there's also the tell me more. You can always use the tell me more all the time.
Right. Well, I kept trying to say that, and they go, yeah, but it says contingent, so that means.
Okay, who would like to share a good example that they heard? Who would like to share a good example they heard?
So that's how you would handle that? Okay.
What is your experience? Any good examples? Kelly.
Well, Lance and I just talked about, like, you know, if you're sitting down with a client and you, like, his example was, you know, you look in the MLS, you see that they had their house listed with someone else recently, you know, tell me about this, or what's your experience with this? Or if you know that someone had a bad experience in the past, just ask them right out, what was that experience? And that right there tells you all you need to know about what you have to do or should do or not do to win with them.
Exactly. This is the goal we're coming to. We'll get back to this. The goal is to get to the point where we can say, because of the fact you said that, and that, now they're ready to hear your responses. Awesome. Lance, you thought of that on your own. That's pretty good, buddy.
No, Kelly thought on that.
Oh, Kelly did. Nice work. Anyone else have an example?
We were just talking about, excuse me, coming from if you're at an open house. What is your experience with the buying process? Where are you at in buying? Are you a first-time buyer? Have you bought a home before? You know, finding out what their kind of history is and what is their experience with buying a home?
And are they familiar with the neighborhood that you're in? Because if they're not, you can tell them about it, but if they are, they may have more to tell you. So.
Exactly. Melissa?
Mike had something really cool, talking with Candace and I, he said, you know, I'm a dude. Us dudes maybe aren't as good at making conversation, but he learned something earlier in life that gives you kind of like a little cheat sheet of like, ask some questions about this. Would you mind sharing it?
Oh, sure. I just, years ago, I forget what the seminar was, but it was a visual of a house, clouds in the sky, a plane in the sky, flowers in the front yard, a sidewalk, a man walking with a briefcase, a mailbox, a dog, all that, right? And so when you came to this, you could start with your experience, but then what's the next question, right? So you look at that and then you can think, okay, what kind of business are you in? Were you in the same business when you tried to sell your house last time? The plane is travel and things outside of work and the house and the dog. And so just when you find yourself in a lull, and you wanna find out more about them, you can just look at, that visual comes up. I drew it, and I still see that drawing today. It was a pretty good drawing too, the guy kinda was a mess, but I got that visual, and then I can come up with that next question, you know, and move it on.
So what I'm hearing, Mike, and help me out if I'm right, but what you're saying is you're trying to visualize that person in their life.
Yeah.
Around the house, not just the house, but what goes on in their life around the house.
Right.
And so by visualizing that and letting them talk about that, that builds connection. And it really helps you learn their needs. And so you use that visual reminder to think about the whole of the person, not just their individual point. And I'm gonna point out right there that I also used a really good reaffirming technique. Mike, if I understand what you're saying, which helps people, again, feel connected. It's a bridge to your next statement and brings them further into the point. But ultimately, our goal is to learn their needs, their fears, and their aspirations. And if I picture their life around the house as a whole, it allows me a framework to think about all of those other things that I want to leave without kind of, and I know I love to talk about Tommy Boy, Tommy Callahan. He gets that, if you've seen it, he gets that role and he tears it up because that's what he does. And a lot of times when we hear somebody say, I want to sell my house, you just get excited, dude. You are ready to move on. This is what I've been waiting for. It's showtime, pow! But instead of that, we want to find out more about them because we want to link that up so we can truly meet their needs, not just satisfy them. If we get that house sold, it's sad you've satisfied the need. But if you truly want to create a raving fan, a person who's really going to be a supporter in the long term, you have to learn about their needs and be able to address them because you may do all of that anyway, but it's the reaffirming of those points. Hey, remember when you said, but you can't remember when they said if you never found out to begin with.
Thank you, that was great. Needs. I need 3 beds, I need, 4 bath, I don't know what the heck, 5-car garage, a bidet, I don't know, those are just needs. I don't know why I said bidet. Why is it important to know their fears? Why is it important to learn their fears?
Because they may just be myths. You can squash the myths. I do ask that sometimes when I meet with new, especially sellers for some reason. I don't know why, maybe I should ask buyers too, but are there any fears or concerns you have about this process? And I mean, just asking it straight out, I think, especially if you're in competition with somebody else, the other person isn't asking that. And maybe they say something that you're like, oh, like maybe it's a buyer or something, and they say, well, I have to put 20% down. You could easily go, oh my gosh, no, no, that's, don't worry about that. So all of a sudden it's not a fear anymore.
Their fears could be real, and they could also be imagined, such as maybe they listen to the news a lot, and what the news is saying is not really what's going on, say, in the mortgage market or the housing market or that kind of a thing. So I think it's good to get that out a little bit in the open, and maybe you can share your experience if it's an imagined fear or not a real fear or whatever.
I love that. Yeah, thank you. Well, and here's how he helps with those things. So yeah, what do you understand about the mortgage industry right now, or the market? What is your experience in real estate? When they express the fear, how certain are you that could happen, or when was the last time you moved? Whatever your situation is, there's great questions here. And just like when Jen Toomer was here, she talked about it's less important to have bullet points that you want to get across. It's more important to have questions that address those bullet points so that you can enter those questions. Now, back to here, another reason it's important for fears and aspirations is throughout the process. If you learn what their biggest fear is, or
or let's say we learn what their biggest aspiration is. These are the things they need, but what they really want is when their kids are in high school, they want the high school friends to all come there, and they wanna have a pool, and they wanna invite families, so they want it to they wanna have a home that has that feeling, you know, with Cousin Eddie jumping off the diving board, thank you, and whatever so now you're understanding the feeling and the aspiration of what they want, and then you can use that so now they're looking at they've got everything that they want, and they're going through an inspection, and now they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much on this inspection. It's how concerned are you, you know, how will it feel if 10 years from now, we didn't get into this house and you express their aspiration, enjoying that. So you need to be able to articulate that back to them. That's what a lot of these questions do. Those are key moments. I know Sarah Anderson at worked for her splendidly one time when the buyers were getting cold feet. And she reminded them of their aspiration and used a little bit of what's it gonna feel like? How important is it that how really important is it that you wanna have that situation with your kids having a great time in the pool, right? Tricia?
Just piggybacking on that, I just had a buyer conversation, and you typically start with tell me about what you're looking for in a home, bedrooms, bathrooms, all that. And I reframed it and said, imagine we're three months from now, just imagine what your home looks like that we've just found. Describe it for me. And I got so much more information beyond just the bedrooms, the bathrooms, you know, it was talk about the neighborhood, the schools, friends coming. I mean, they just went on and on and on instead of just the details. So just that was just this past week. That was a super powerful conversation, just making that tiny little switch in the words that I used.
And because you asked that, and you learned all that, it speeds up your process, because now you know exactly what to do.
And it's almost interesting, because it's almost the exact reverse of what Mike talked about, right? Mike is envisioning it so he can plan his questions out, and you're saying, you know, I'm just gonna turn that on head and let you tell me all of it. And then you keep that framework, right? And say, all right, I've got all of this, but what I'm missing is this part, or this part, or this part, which then allows you to go back and fill in the rest of that picture.
Awesome. Thank you. People do things for their reasons, not yours. Imagine that. Imagine that. I love this phrase right here. I hope you guys don't mind them sit down a lot. It's just a day where I need to sit down a lot. I don't want it to look like a weakness. I like to walk around. Empathy, so that's why I always shared it. Empathy is to care about what people care about what people we care about. That's a heavy one. So that's saying, I mean, we care about our clients. Well, then we care what they care about. We've got to find out what they care about. Got to find out. So the goal with empathy, remember we went from curiosity, now empathy. The goal is to earn the right to make the recommendations for them to hear them. So curiosity, you gain their certainty, more confidence with you, and now it's relatability. So now it's important that you affirm and reflect. So anytime you're on a call and they share an objection, say, oh yeah, that's, he'll confirm that that's valid by saying something like, yes, that's an important, that's an important comment you just made, or important. He'll confirm it that way, but then it's important to reflect it, okay? Reflect the objection. Jason's wheels are turning over, so it's gonna. Yep.
Jamie, I know how you feel sitting up there. You need to sit in that chair. What my clients have found is that can really relieve a great deal of stress. And there you are. Yeah. It feels bad to do that. What I found is this. You can make this work in anything, but this is one of the best objection handler structures that you could possibly have. Melissa, I know that you feel like this might be more than what you wanted to pay. And a lot of my clients have felt similar things. What they found out is over the course of the next 30 years, that small difference in price really did not amount to near the enjoyment they found when they got the right property. Feel?
Where do I
felt,
sign?
found. Like feel, because it's important to acknowledge their feelings, right? And by doing that, I'm acknowledging that her fears are real. Not only did she feel it, but a lot of my clients felt that way too. So she's not alone feeling that way. I want you to be heard. But I also need to tell you something different. And that's where we talk about found.
Jason, do it with this one. Again, the basic is, when there's an objection, is to just, at least just repeat what they said.
Okay.
Don't do it in a, just repeat what they say, do it in a, obviously in a caring way, otherwise you sound condescending, but we aren't ready to work with an agent yet.
Oh, you know how you feel. It can be almost intimidating to have to sign that contract. And a lot of people I've worked with in the past felt the same way. What they found out was, instead of signing a contract, they were gaining an advocate. Someone who was going to work on their behalf and keep their things, according to our old car, keep the stuff that they've shared with me entirely confidential and put somebody to work who's going to be a fiduciary for their best interests. How would you like to have me work on your behalf?
Nice.
Feel felt found. How you feel? My clients felt the same way. What they found was.
That was great, Jason.
I don't know.
Well, the third part of the triangle is courage, and that's taking action. This is where I think it's hardest for us. This is closings. This is closing answers. Like, just out of curiosity, if we're able to do X, Y, and Z that you said, right? Because you said X, Y, and Z, just out of curiosity, if we were to do X, Y, and Z, are we ready to sign today? However you want to use it. Or enough. One of them is really blunt that says enough, and it's funny to me, but it's, you echo some of the things that you said, and is there any more? Is that enough information to move forward? We have enough information to move forward with. So, give it a try. I know I get that look when people say, turn to your people and say, and practice this. This is a closing, this is taking action. Turn to your partners and say, and use the just out of curiosity and close them with something. Because of the fact that you said, give it a try. I will say this, it's meant to be, he does this less specific.
It's funny how he has to pick all the action time.
So she knows all of this.
No, this is a closing. You just got all the information.
Just out of curiosity.
That was a good one, Will.
And curiosity killed a cat sometimes.
I like how it's good.
And it's
It's just out of curiosity.
if I stare into this light, or light will blind.
Making someone sign a new buyer contract super difficult right now. I found that very hard. Very serious to sign it, if they be on the hook for payment. And I can't guarantee that the seller is going to pay that now. And so, like, I was taking my cousin out, and I said, look, if you don't want to sign it, let's just go to open houses, because I can go there, where are you going to? And then I'll do like a one-time showing, and then go to the other house, you can get an idea of what realistically is out there right now.
I don't get that
That
enough.
like you're 3 points, just not realistic. It's just
It's incorporated into.
So I said, and that other house was 320, probably that, $8,000 they were working with. So, you know what I mean? But they still just weren't, like, that just freaked them out, she's selling, signing that contract. And she's my cousin, she's my relative.
No, that's why it's
I'm a big one.
Is that enough to move forward? Is that enough? Would that be enough?
Okay.
But it's a little less once you get it kind of.
Okay, let's move back in, Will, what was your, just out of curiosity? Will's got the floor. You said you had a just out of curiosity. You did a good one. You don't remember?
And I went, made it to me and I'm having a problem.
You said it right away, that was great. Then I heard it much more. Anyone have a good because of the fact you said, but then just out of curiosity thrown in there? Anybody got a good one, just out of curiosity? Or have you had enough?
Not enough.
All right, we're moving on. Unlocking curiosity. What's the best thing about? So that's the next, now you have an actual, let me back up real quick. He wanted the first group to be unspecific, Phil Jones, when he does this, and that's because he wants it to be messy, because that's where some of the ideas come from. So this time, we're actually gonna have a reason to pair up. What's the best thing about is what we're gonna use, we're gonna pair up, and the buyer's looking at a property. How would you use this? The buyer's looking, what's the best thing about? Turn to your partner and give it a try. One be the partner, one be the buyer, one be the agent.
You're looking at a property?
Buyer is looking at a property.
Looking at a property.
Oh, yeah. That, no, that would be, I'm that out. I'll be maybe loves to understand about it. I think that
That's really good. I feel like when you first saw once you start asking those
there, that there.
So now I show two
All right, let's roll it up here again. Was it a little easier that you had an actual reason? Remember, it's curiosity, empathy, and courage. So here's the empathy. Here's the empathy part. Jason, let's practice it together here. I am a seller worried about the market, Jason. Here's your response. Gosh, the
See-
market, I'm hearing X, Y, and Z. I don't get the raw report, so I'm ignorant. I'm worried about putting my house in the market with the way the market is.
I know how that feels. I've had a lot of customers in the past, clients in the past that I worked with, that felt very similarly to that. The uncertainty, the fear, all of the things that can go into a market like it is right now. And that's exactly, and what my clients have found, is that's exactly why they go with a realtor like me. My knowledge of the market and the team I have behind me is here to help navigate that market so you can take advantage of the situation rather than be a victim of it.
Good job.
This could be shorter. Jason's good at being able to see it, all the things to put in there. And the biggest part is that he reflected back my concern. And he didn't just poo-poo it and just start answering what the answer is. So, turn to your partner and do it, and I know how that feels.
Candace calls you. I know that the market right now, but throughout history, there's always been uncertainty. So, people still bought houses and sold houses, but I know that right now, like, a lot of people are feeling like everything's gonna crash. Whatever that is, that's what they're putting out in the news right now. So much uncertainty, and I think with the news.
It is a hard
Actually, single-handedly crashed the market in 2008. I mean, seriously, they put out so much fear, so that's really hard when the media is putting out so much fear. Market's terrible, it's crashing. Now it's not normal, we're all all this stuff, this is horrible, it's horrible. It shouldn't be. It should be. Fair, right? I know. Yeah. Thank you. Right. And so there's all the different options, but somebody has to yeah. And why not have a little bit of investment? When there's the greatest opportunity. Yeah. They do, and I really, everybody's so freaked out about the tariff thing. I am like, reciprocal tariffs, you understand? They're just trying to level the playing field and get it back to zero. That doesn't mean that suddenly we're not going to be able to buy stuff from primary reasons. We're not going to have the tariffs that we have to pay. We're trying to level the playing field. And I'm like, but,
Time is running low. Time is running low.
Soybeans again. Oh, hell, I don't know. Wonder, the people, I can't even see my own.
All right, hey, real quick.
Hard thing
I know some of you are getting hungry, so let's do one more here before we wrap it up. The last one is courage. Courage to guide, if you remember this, again, with the 3R. It's important to say these responses with confidence and clear, direct language. So, in this case, the buyer is entertaining multiple offers.
Buyer's entering.
Entering.
Sorry.
Oh.
Buyer is
Just
entertaining
the seller is
multiple offers.
entertaining.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna go play this.
And the good news is,
Jamie, the good news is the house you've chosen is popular, which means it's a great buy.
Yeah, I mean.
what else can you think of?
It means you're gonna have to ante up, man.
That's not the good news.
That's the bad news.
The good news is that we have strategies to help you win this.
Well, I like how we're doing this, let's hear more. The good news is, Monique.
Strategies in a way to help you win when we have multiple offers.
Ooh.
Let's talk more about that. What can we do? Here's some of the strategies we've used that have been successful in the past.
If you would have paused and just waited for me to respond, or the buyer, at that point, it would have been.
Yeah, they just leave it and then you're like.
You're in competition.
Yeah, and then you're like, tell me more. Then they're asking you the question. Who else has another good news on this one?
Tricia has good news.
The good news is you are really strong financially and we don't know what the other offers look like, so I think we should put our best foot forward and go for it.
Love that.
As straight, and then you can piggyback on, obviously it's a great house and a good buy, because there's so many. But sometimes they don't realize that their financing can get them over that line, or they'll be afraid, I don't wanna enter multiple offers. Well, we don't know what all the other offers are. You can't assume that they're all cash or that they're all
Above.
50% down or,
Yeah, or above price.
Right.
You just don't know.
we don't know, so.
That is good news. Thank you for sharing it. And you said it with confidence and clarity. Nice.
Who else has got good news? Somebody's got good news.
Good news is you have to get an appraisal, so you can't overpay. The bank won't let you overpay for the house.
Pow! Ooh, the bank is gonna help me out. I don't believe that, but I like it.
That's not
I mean, it's gotta appraise.
We still have room for
When you're going over,
negotiation.
yeah, we still have
Yeah.
it's gotta appraise
We Candace, how often does HHG do stuff like this?
every day.
You role play every day,
Well, Monday to Friday.
Monday through Friday. You role play every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have you found that to be a help in your career over the last year?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Awesome.
When's the worst time to have to think of what to say?
When you have.
Right, when you're on the go.
Have strategies for moments. Right, have strategies for moments, so that's professional. That's professional. All right, let's put it all together. Ultimately, every time you go into conversations, start with curiosity, move to empathy, just repeat what they had said, and then jump in there with courage. I heard you say this, and that. What if we move forward today with whatever it is you offer, so. Again, winning in the next decade isn't the marketing game, it's the conversation game. It's each opportunity that you have to be in front of people, let's turn that up. We're not playing games with them by knowing exactly what to say. You are just getting quicker to what their needs, aspirations, and fears are, so that you can absolutely put the value that you have in those situations for them and move forward quicker.
Jimmy, I like to think that if you know what to say, you can spend way more time and more effort and more energy focused on what they're saying and not have to worry about how you're gonna respond. And that is one of Stephen Covey's points, that most people listen with the intent to respond, not to understand. And because inside we're trying to think of the next thing to say, when we hear something, that's where we want to seize on it and pull that Tommy Boy action and pull that whole thing apart, right? But instead, if I know what I'm going to say in a lot of different situations, I'm super comfortable, because now I really want to hear what you have to say. It makes it so much easier for me. But you were not born with the words in your mouth for every situation. So you have to practice them. So you're not doing it for the first time on your client, the second time on your client. Do it with my friend Candace, and then suddenly it's a lot easier when the client says it. I almost say it automatically, I know how to respond. Not, oh, well, let's see, certainty, okay, I gotta go with curiosity here, right? I've already worked the process through.
I think another really important point to remember is we are so professional and so well-trained here, and we look out for one another the way a brokerage, no other brokerages do. And having the chance to practice on your peer, where they may be able to give you valuable feedback or clarifying details, like, oh gosh, you should be thinking about this. You need to make that practice and make those mistakes with one another, rather than saying something you might regret with a client.
Pow! Bam!
Be there for one another.
Well, I was talking to Michelle about how I'm having a hard time basically competing with the news and the fear that they are putting out right now. I felt like in 2008, they put out a lot of fear and half crashed the economy because of it. People went, oh my gosh, I better stop shopping and I better stop buying stuff and I better stop doing this because, I might not have a job. And then everything died and everything closed, and it did happen. And I feel like the same thing's going on right now. And I'm like, that's hard when that's being put out there to figure that out.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We will be talking more about that next week. Yeah, we'll be talking more about that next week. It's another opportunity for us, is ultimately what it is. So we'll work on that. But yes, it's reflex, having reflex. Also, ultimately, what he says is real estate is about relating. In fact, you can't do real estate without relating in it. Right, action plan. So just choose one of these phrases from today or technique and use it in your next client interaction. Just give it a shot. Come to the exactly what to say workshop next week. We're going to do more because ultimately, if you stretch a rubber band too far, it can stay stretched sometimes, right? Or old wineskin and something like that, right? If you just stretch it once, it goes back. So what we'd like to do is take some of the ones that we're going to work on that you'd like to have as reflexes and work on them. And we'll do that together and have a great time so we can make our conversations count. And after this today, we have Mega Agent Mastermind here. We don't have Mega Agent. Oh wait, who's this? Hey, we don't have that today.
No.
KW Connectors.
Just go right on by that one. You just go right on by.
I started reading.
Right on by.
Neither of those.
Right on by.
Speed dating.
So,
None of that is true. He just needs to hit the next button.
what if it wasn't Mega Agent Mastermind today? And it was KW Connectors at 12:30. And at 2 o'clock, we have the mixer, and she's going to get the mixes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all. Let's go grab some grub. Thank you all so much. And thank you, Karina, for getting the grub ready.
Mixer. Are you mixing? Are you gonna be a mix master?
I think I am.
Clicking buttons.
I got nothing on here on the card.
So,
I don't know, let's just look at it.
right, well, I started.
We're gonna give you a warning.
I'm not a minute.
You have Florida pick the window.
Okay, Melissa.
Yeah, and one time, and I've never been a wheelchair.
I was at Iowa State, or
No, I had
License.
Houston, I had Houston.
No, I had my dad's license.
And I thought I was getting pretty
Yeah.
close to the top.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we have updates?
I don't know what that is.
We have sports.
I don't know what all that consternation is about. Seems right to me.
William, how's it going in your new office over there? No, I like your office.
Reminder, anytime you market yourself, especially on social media, to say license with Corey Williams. No, you just want to have
could've got every other one right.
Well, I checked all 4 seats to be in the final.
You know, this, I did too, this is like the
That
first
doesn't
time.
happen very often, but I just, these are really 4 very powerful.
It's always tough to put up somebody in front,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, now that I got the photos, I've got all kinds of marketing.
And Kelly,
Yes.
I'm excited.
And
So, fun stuff today.
ALC to just have like
Trying to get.
Yes. Okay, yay!
I gave one,
Alright.
it's a good little Yeah, let me grab this so I don't forget. Liz, did you sign it? Thank you very much.
I just keep going back to
Oh my gosh.
well, that's what got us to do it. And that's what's gonna start happening. They're a much different start.
I don't know.
Just the perception, people are, they're good players. Give it a while. Just bank his hand. You can charge you all that. You do. The only things we could do is say, you know, if they're about to buy it, it's.
Okay, what's up?
We're trying,
I know, it's just one of those things where I feel like it's hard to, there's a break. Yeah, no, he's afraid.
I did see
it sounds like it's going down, it's just me and my own.
And you know that it'll be picked back, so it's a good idea. Thank you.
Setting up
My initial thought
However, talking about the agent, it should be the case where it's their financing.
Okay.
It's a spreadsheet where it goes from the seller to the buyer. It's just.
Oh, yeah, I did, you're back. Cover your face. Of course. Okay, did you hear the question? No. Okay, good. Okay, ready? No, you're good, just hold it up when you talk. Okay, ready? And do you think the cereal bar Riddler is this month?
Offer?
The cereal bar Riddler?
You're another offer with a new thing.
Right.
That's why they have a offer, so that they know, no, this is a non-negotiable.
Have you seen it?
No.
Right.
It's just one of those levers that.
Yeah.
And most, and there's a lot of agents
Yeah, we're
are
feeling it.
understanding.
Trying to
And you were featured in the Mini Mike Monday.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. You did see that one, that's good. Thank you, Mikey.
And just pay out of pocket.
Right, because they're worried about having to pay. They want to put enough down so they don't have to pay money, which I understand entirely. So then they're like, well, and that affects my bottom line on that. Like, I don't want to end up not having, you know, enough money that then I have to pay PMI. I'm finding it a little bit more difficult, so I actually, this is my own relative, so I'm on your board.
That can get tougher.
So, I mean, maybe that's harder than somebody that I don't know. So I just blew up, I instead took them to a bunch of open houses, and then the one house that wasn't, we just did a one-time touring thing, because I thought, well, they're freaked out, and I thought, they don't even want to sign one with me. And they know me, and I go, this is hard, and I feel like I have just gone to a bunch of different places, and they know what they want now. But I myself am just doing a bunch of things, so I just thought, okay, I will, until I find the one that I think is a good one for them, I'm just gonna go see some stuff and eliminate So then they're not overwhelmed with, you know, having to go through, because they're like, a lot of stuff happens. And I'm like, dude, come on, it's so kind that I actually made up flyers and going around and dropping them off at doors to see if anyone with a 4-car garage would stick themselves in their house.
Open one, or do one, I'll send you
Which is
that,
crazy.
stop on by.
And I'm like, chances are, they would want
So
way more money than they want to pay anyway. So I'm like, going, oh, I'm going.
So some of the stuff you guys want to do, you know what you want.
Sometimes you don't get what you want.
Well,
The Rolling
biggest thing-
Stones.
It's true. It's true, and it's the fear of not having it, you know, well, what is it with cardio
If they're mechanics
Just
and.
leave it,
Yeah.
then you leave it open for them so that they're going, yeah,
Right.
I don't wanna be in 4 or 5 years without that.
Well, I found them a place with 5-car garage, and it was over 400,000, and they're like, well, I don't wanna pay that, and I said, well, it's been on the market for a while, you might be able to get it for under that.
Well, good job on your video.
But they're like, but there's a lot of work on that house, I'm like,
Julian has 5-car garage.
like, I looked so hard to find that, and I'm, honestly, I go.
What if we don't find something?
And I went, yep.
Some practice, some question practice. Oh, yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, and there's only so much.
There is, and I did say that, look, I said, I can't imagine.
I was so frustrated. Oh, you used to jump rate, it was hard. I know, I totally been there. So I said, we just have to keep doing it, keep practicing. Because I was like, we'll try it yourself first. Zero, like, so kind.
Yeah, because the one I did with Ken is.
Video is one.
I'm going to, I just, like I said, I need to get out my own way. Hello.
So this one will have.
Oh, okay. I thought I told you earlier.
So.
It went through, actually, my client.
What is it by you?
They aren't completely ready.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you wanna enjoy your meal by yourself.
Probably
Okay.
about 30, they're waiting on the work that,
It's a great way to look at it. Get things.
You're right. We all
yeah,
should do
because
that.
they're working on the, first generation program, and, yeah,
Somebody should
they've
turn this
been
meeting
with
on.
the application and everything
Good.
for a month, so I'm thinking it's a matter of.
Can I come sit with the connectors?